we are nearing the business end of future champs Gauteng, and this match between Orlando Pirates and Atletico Madrid will determine one of the teams competing in tomorrow's much anticipated finale. Talking about anticipation, the fans out here at the Nike Center cannot wait for this one. It's semi-final time. Debutants Roy Blancos against four-time participants, the Buccaneers of Orlando. It's overcast here in Soweto. Slightly, it's a little bit muggy. We don't expect the temperatures to get up too high. The playing conditions are not terribly difficult, not the most favorable either, though. In terms of how Orlando Pirates have got to this point, they won their first two games, which meant that they only needed to avoid a massive defeat against Kaizer Chiefs in order to qualify. They managed the draw, whilst Atletico Madrid have won all three of their games so far. In fact, the Spaniards hold the auspicious mantle of being the only side in the competition to have won all the opening games. They are the only team yet to concede thus far, so the Pirates will have the unenviable task of attempting to be the first to breach this resolute backline. It really promises to be an absolute cracker. Neither side shy in front of goals. Both of them have netted 5 so far. The only question will be we be shouting Golazo or La Duma during this match? Who will make it to the finals of this competition? All that remains to be seen over the following 60 minutes as the team prepare for this gigantic clash. And this is how they shape up the Buccaneers. They'll be relying on Lyle Foster to get them the goals. Meanwhile, the lanky Tebogo Modiba came on as a sub yesterday, or rather on Wednesday. Today, he gets a start. The backline and the goalkeeper remain unchanged, whilst Masinga comes in for Mabangwa in the midfield. The coach today, Augusto Palacios, the experienced Peruvian, keeping a watchful eye over these youngsters. On the other end, lining up Atletico Madrid. They will be unchanged from the first two games. They made a bevy of changes to play in Mpumalanga Black Aces on Wednesday, but simply because they had already qualified for the semi-finals of this tournament. And now they are back to their strongest possible team. Yaquinta leads the line, still hoping to find his first goal, and the very impressive Andy on the left wing will be hoping to shine once again, as De La Moreno will be hoping for a muy bueno performance from his boys this afternoon. Michael Causa will keep a watchful eye over proceedings. We are only minutes away from the kickoff. I'd love to get the thoughts of my partner in crime, Matthew Booth. We could possibly, Matthew, see an all-South African final if Orlando Pirates triumph here in this fixture, and if Wits come up with the goods in their game against Club Tijuana that follows this one, in fact. And I was just thinking to myself, the three most impressive sides in the competition have been Atletico Madrid, Wits, Pirates. In fact, Wits, you could almost say, have been the most impressive. Club Tijuana just scraped into the semi-finals, but the South Africans have they've put in a good performance, made a good account of themselves. None less than Orlando Pirates, of course. This will most certainly be Atletico de Madrid's toughest test so far. talking about the physical presence that Orlando Pirates do possess. And perhaps the Spaniards haven't come up against a team, barring maybe the Mpumalanga Black Aces on Wednesday, that possess the same kind of height, stature and strength. No chance here. James Tabiso Monyane, and he gets it back after having initially lost it. Played on to Mofokeng. It's his 16th birthday today. Happy birthday, lad. Hopefully for you it will be a happy occasion.
For a change, that the setup for Pirates is the fact that they're using Foster and Modiba up front as a flat front two. It's quite a positive stance, and it's quite refreshing to see that, whereas most teams usually have one behind the other.
This could be a great opportunity for Orlando Pirates, as we've become accustomed to see. Two men split apart, and it's launched in. They scored from a very similar position on Wednesday against Kaizer Chiefs. Doesn't come off for them this time. Eventually the shot flies in. Alex watches it past his goals. The Brazilian goalkeeper has had very, very little to do in this tournament. Of course, he made way for Cesar in their final group deciding game. And prior to that, really, he's been untested. What we have seen from him, though, is a really good ability to read the game and to come off the line swiftly when called upon. He plays a sweeper-keeper role. Atletico de Madrid forward, and he just can't bring it under his spell. It was a good switch of play, well spotted by Atto, and Andy knows that if he had managed to control that, he may well have been very much in on goal. Rodri battling away with Dingy. Now the lanky Modiba, judged to have been fouled by Rodri. Doesn't often display a lot of energy, does the tall striker of Orlando Pirates. But he does certainly provide an aerial threat. Now, Ngaba. He had his foot on the ball momentarily and then just played his fellow defender into a little bit of trouble. Dingy. Got the ball caught under his feet momentarily. Now he comes away with it and creates himself a fair amount of space to whip it in. Does so to the back post. Monyane was arriving. Already netted himself a goal in the first game that Orlando Pirates competed in this tournament. Had sights on a second.
Dingy does fantastically well down that right wing, twisting and turning, and more often than not you see him wingers sometimes overrun there, having a go at the defense, and he puts in a almost pinpoint cross which Monyane Lili takes benefit of.
Now Yakin combining with Oscar, who does have 2 goals in this tournament already. Was rested last time out, didn't start the game. Taped up on his neck. Familiar with it, a Canisio tape that kind of takes certain injured muscles out of the equation. Not entirely sure how it works, but obviously suffering from some kind of issue, which has been resolved by that fancy taping.
I find that kinesio tape is more of psychological benefit, just for a player to have something in the area which is concerning him.
Now Foster, nicely distributed out wide by Masinga, which means Monyane gets onto the end of it. Great strength Namasinga still. Oh, in an instant, Atletico Madrid have an opportunity to go upfield, but Joaquin, the 17-year-old striker, with a wasteful ball through.
Well, it's nice to see so far this game is pretty open, and much of the play has been bypassing the midfield. It's got a very nice flow to the game so far, which is very promising in the way of goals.
Now Joaquin cuts inside, shoots, misses. Good show of intent from the young man up front. Ball comes back to Tsunsani. Was so unlucky on Wednesday. Put in a great shift against Kaizer Chiefs, and will have to come for this one. Unfortunately, saw the ball diverted past him into the goal by one of his own players. No real chance. Modiba. Lines. The birthday boy, Mofo King. Through to Mdingi. Nice feet from there from Montero. Sometimes a bit of an over-reliance on him, and certainly a little bit of overindulgence at the back sometimes, insistent on playing it out. And this time it works out well for them until that final ball to Fede wasn't picked up by the young man from Equatorial Guinea.
The benefit that you'll find from Atletico's point of view coming into this game is that the fact that they had the luxury of resting a number of their players in their last group game, whereas Pirates could have also done the same, but playing in a derby, they chose not to. So you could find as the game wears on that Atletico do get stronger.
Pirates are relatively unchanged. It's a very good point. They could most certainly have done what Atletico have done. They only needed to avoid defeat by a 4-goal margin in order to qualify, and that could have been done quite easily, even with their more fringe players on the field. Decided against it, decided to field their strongest 11 against Kaizer Chiefs, and managed to eke out a draw against an Amakosi side that did look stronger than them on the day. And we did mention on Wednesday that sometimes form counts for very little going into a fixture like that. It was a hard-fought game. Montero watched the ball all the way back to his keeper. Fede under pressure from Monyane. That's going to be a real clash of strength. Possibly the first time that Federico will actually be tested in terms of the strength stakes.
Yeah, certainly I've been impressed with Monyane. He's hard running, very athletic, puts himself about, and that's going to be a great tussle out there on the far side.
Well, he's got scary pace and strength for a 15-year-old. Throw-in opportunity here for Madrid. Fede does have the ability to go rather long with a throw. Won't do on this occasion simply because the advertising hoardings are, well, in such close proximity to the edge of the field. Doesn't give him a lot of a run-up.
Well, the throw looks suspiciously like a foul throw to me. We've seen a number of those already.
Corner goes short. It's Andy combining with Joaquin. You would suspect that Joaquin should be in the box for a scenario like this. He isn't. He's combining with the left winger out on the far side flank. Now it does go in direct. There's big men in there, And the fact that Montero and Carlos both interested, but Tsunsane plucks it out of the air with aplomb. Coming forward now, real chance. Can he find his man? He does. Mofokeng. In tamely, only had one man to aim for. It was Monyane who had in fact played Mofokeng in himself.
Yeah, Monyane's through ball was just a touch too heavy. A little bit overweight that pass, and Mofokeng not able to get onto the run and get a clear shot on it. Had to hold it up and try and cut it back, but by that time the Madrid defense had sorted back and recovered.
Well, the problem was that Monyane didn't play the pass on the ground, which naturally it would have started to hold up on this turf, and that would have been the better idea. It took a bounce and skidded away from the oncoming man, the oncoming Mofokeng. Absolutely right, Matt. Slightly overplayed, but it was a really good opportunity coming directly from Atletico Madrid's corner. That's a nice touch in midfield. Mikel tries to return the favor, and Oscar can't get onto the end of it. 16-year-old Tenerife-born man has 2 goals in this competition. The one again that he scored against Ferroviario Maputo was an absolute gem. Now Mdingi. Masinga flicks it through. Foster. And Masinga was arriving. Hacked at air. It was just taken off his toes at the last second.
What a timely challenge that was by Montero. He needed to get one there because I think Foster had already pulled that trigger back.
Plenty of big men in the box. Foster, Modiba, side by side, as is Traba, the centre half. Simo Papela, the 15-year-old midfielder, lofts it in. And unfortunately for Orlando Pirates, about 3 men offside on occasion. The impressive Montero hardly ever puts a foot wrong. Now Oscar, Andy. Those two combined to good effect in the first game. Singer more than content to play it backwards. It was nicely kept in by Mofokeng. Had a lot to do, unfortunately was unable to locate one of his teammates with his head. Mikel can only go backwards. Orlando Pirates doing very well to neutralize their opposition. And that's not something we've seen or been able to say so far in this competition, although that is a fantastic turn. Has he taken too long? Has he done too much? He may have. The chance still alive. Atto, side netting. Telling his teammates, what else could I do? And that was a real opportunity, although did Yakin try and do too much? Could certainly have hit this a little earlier. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, he just take an extra touch, and the extra touch that he did take was far too heavy. Tumswani, to his credit, took him out as wide as possible and spread himself. Was very brave going in there with one-on-one. And of course the scrambled defense by Kaba.
Well, that's what I wanted to. That's certainly deserving of praise. Orlando Pirates captain went down initially, saw The advancing Atto moved past and created a new angle for himself, and then almost shimmied on the ground and, I don't know, moved himself forward somehow to once again get in the way. Good touches in the box. The captain, Abba, coming to the rescue of Orlando Pirates once again, but it was already adjudged to have been an offside.
Yes, Kaba's done very well in the last couple of seconds, putting his body on the line. Pirates are just got to get their foot on the ball now after those couple of moments and just settle things down.
Modiba. Just lost in the midfield. As we hit the 16-minute mark, the last 10 minutes they've not belonged to either side. Atletico Madrid shading the possession overall. Pirates making a very good account of themselves.
Yeah, I think those possession stats are not a true reflection of the game. I think Pirates have probably been a little bit more forthright and direct.
Although the most worrying moments for either side in front of goal have, of course, been for Orlando Pirates, as good as they have been. And they've dealt with it well. You certainly have to give them credit. Della Moreno cutting a worried figure on the touchline. Will certainly not want to have to make a substitution so early in the game, especially in midfield. Could really unsettle things and cause an imbalance in his team. And we do know that when these fringe players, these substitutes, have to be utilized, the team is not nearly as effective. Although on the bench they do have number 17 Gie, and he scored on Wednesday. He scored the only goal, the winner for Roy Blancos against Mpumalanga Aces. Could potentially be one of the men that they might want to introduce. So just to assess things now on the sidelines.
Alex using his experience here and just slowing the game down because he knows he's got a man off the field, hoping that he will get back on as soon as possible, just giving the player as much time as possible to get back on the field, just to get back to their full strength, full quota of players.
Well, the ball was in play. He was not obligated at all to actually move things along. Really, if no Pirates players had come towards him to close him down, he could have stayed with the ball at his feet for the remainder of this half, had he wished to do so. Dealt with well by Orlando Pirates. And then just taking a moment to assess his options. Carlos, the 16-year-old man from Cuba, clears away. And a foul as Ndingi goes down under pressure. It was judged to have been a push by the referee. Atletico Madrid not able to string together the kind of possession and passes that they are accustomed to do, and have in fact committed 4 fouls, which means often that they're resorting to fouling players in order to curtail the attacks of the Buccaneers, which would suggest, you know, often you can look at fouls and they tell you just as much as possession might. It does suggest that they've needed to go that route in order to stop their opposition, which would suggest that Orlando Pirates have been dangerous so far.
No, without a doubt, and we all know that Pirates are filled with players who are very tricky, got very quick feet,
Speaking of tricky and quick feet, Oscar, really nice skills just outside the box, and then without looking, plays the pass onto what you assume is the run that he assumed would come. It never did. It's a wasted opportunity.
Through ball was worth a try. He was just hoping that one of his teammates would have read his intentions. Unfortunately for him, neither of them did.
Fede clatters into James Monyane. The referee has called a stop to proceedings here simply because he saw the young man clutching his head. We all know that with a head injury, the game has to be stopped immediately. For Atletico Madrid, a sub takes to the field. It is Yera. Characteristically known as Cesar.
It's very unfortunate from a Madrid point of view because Caro and Luke here were looking very, very solid in the midfield. Very calm. The distribution was fantastic. Only time will tell whether the substitution will disrupt proceedings from their point of view. Caro has dropped into that defensive central midfield role, so very similar to what Caro was doing. It was very much like for like in that regard.
Now, a chance here. Restart again. It's an interesting engineered clearance from Montero. He's not happy about it. Looking very comfortable at the back are the Buccaneers. We are informed from the touchline, Matt, that, and it's very unfortunate, for Mikel, the man who was withdrawn, that he has torn a ligament, and we know that with an injury such as that, his tournament, and indeed any games he has scheduled probably for the next few months, well, he's out. He was in tears as he left the field. Possibly due to pain, possibly due to the knowledge that, well, he knows as well as anyone that with an injury such as that, it's game over.
Yeah, it's always very difficult for the medical staff to do a on-field prognosis, but more often than not, a player knows exactly what's happening, especially when it's one of your main ligaments in your knees, and that's very sad if that is the case.
Pirates fly forward here through Monyane. You're absolutely right. In some instances with ligaments in your knees, especially in your ankle, you can audibly hear a popping sound. It almost resonates through your body, and you can hear it in your ears. It's a terrible moment for any player to have to endure. And of course, it'll be the pain, but also the disappointment. And as a young player, when you're out for a fair spell, so Orlando Pirates have a go at goal here from a corner. We'll get another. I was just mentioning that, well, you have to, whilst you're not able to play, work on something else. And it does give a boy who's 17 years old a chance to maybe start developing his upper body strength somewhat. So there's things that he can work on whilst he's out. It's not all doom and gloom. He won't be on the field for a while. Ball in once again, Montero.
Yeah, the trick to a knee injury to that extent is really doing your rehab properly. You've got to really do it down to a T. Make sure you follow the doc's instructions, and more often than not, especially at this age, you'll come back stronger than before. One must also take into account that they are playing on AstroTurf, and that does increase the risks. You don't find much give in this particular turf, and it is quite jarring.
Of course, you have to play a different style of boots as well. There's certain footwear that's an absolute no-no when you are on artificial turf. Of course, players will be well versed in that, don't want to be wearing the incorrect gear, but your chance of injuries is always increased. Orlando Pirates with an opportunity here. Aba still pursues it as it flies off the head of Modiba. Mdini tries to keep it alive. He's shown Rodri a clean pair of heels on a couple of occasions. In combination with Luque, come away with the ball. Played inside by Luque to Oscar. It's better from Roy Blancos. That's very neatly done. Looking for a way in, a route through the Pirates' back line. They've been unyielding so far. Montero misplaces his pass. Certainly not used to seeing that from him. I actually had to pick out a player at this stage of the tournament. It's uncommon for anyone to be identifying a defender as a player of the tournament. This is a real standout performance, and Montero didn't even feature in the last game purely because they were giving Gasco a run. But for me, he's been one of the standout players. His defense that he's marshaled so well are yet to concede. He's potent going forward, so controlled, so calm and composed. And I've been unbelievably impressed with the number 5 of Roy Blancos.
Yes, no, he is quality.
Now, a real quality ball through over the top. Andy was interested in that. He did get onto the end of it. Couldn't turn the ball towards goal. Moments later, Dingy goes down, touching his head, which again is why the referee has called a stop to this, and it is a free kick to Orlando Pirates.
Back to Montero, he is quality, and for such a young man, you know, the ability to lead and to communicate and just to marshal his defense in the way he's done shows a lot of maturity. Very much like goalkeepers, defenders tend to get better and better with age. So for him to be showing those sorts of qualities so early on is great for the club.
Trouble here. Misstep, unfortunately, from Aba. Almost allowed it. Atletico Madrid in. Someone was mentioning it earlier in the competition as Munyane goes down, which is why it keeps popping into my head. I don't know if it's the pulled up socks or the stylish hairstyle, but Montero has an air of Sergio Ramos about him, and just also the fact that he's very good with the ball at his feet and can certainly charge forward with it. If his career follows the same trajectory or anything even remotely similar, well, he's destined to become a really quality player.
Both these teams have generally negated each other and neutralized each other, and when that happens, you do find the game tends to boil over a little bit. And I can see both from a couple of Pirates players and a couple of the Madrid players have started to up the ante a bit with regards words towards the referee and a few of the tackles that are flying in. Hopefully it doesn't boil over too much.
Four-man wall for Atletico Atletico Madrid, and now the referee has a decision to make. Going down is Foster. Claims that someone has just nudged him in the back, thrown an elbow, something of the sort. The referee didn't see it, therefore was not able to make a decision. Chipped over the top. Bamasinga, the second time in this game that they've attempted to do that. Still an opportunity alive for Orlando Pirates. And this time, although he can't believe it, Fede gets the yellow card. Oscar having words here with the Pirates players. He's unhappy about that one. Dini going down, and he claims that the young Buccaneer is in fact dived. Well past the allotted additional time. The referee just using his discretion. There's been a couple of stoppages during this added minute. Two-man wall. Atto and Andy. It's taken out of the equation by the lofted free kick. Now perhaps one last chance. Bonyane hits it. It's easy for Alex, but that's a good shot on the turn.
Yeah, that was a difficult piece of skill by Bonyane, and he's fired the last shots towards the end of this half, sending the Pirates team into a positive frame of mind going into half.
So that was an excellent way for them to end it. Atto just having words with Fede there, probably still complaining that he picked up a yellow card after bringing down Dingy. Meanwhile, it's been tough going for both teams up front, although they have manufactured a fair few chances going into this short break before we resume proceedings. Another 30 minutes to come. Who will make it into the final of future champs Gauteng? Orlando Pirates have eyes on that spot, as do Atletico Madrid. As it stands, it's deadlocked, level at 0-0.
It is 0-0 right at the Nike Training Football Center between Orlando Pirates and Atletico Madrid. Both these teams will want to ensure that they are able to find the back of the net, as it's still a stalemate, because should it end like this, they will go out to choose penalties, and I'm sure none of them want to have that. But don't forget that the action continues right here on your World of the Champions for the International Gauteng Future Championship Tournament. Don't forget that you can be a part of all the actions at SuperSport TV, #SPS Football. After this, our commentator Ron Prinsett takes you through the first 30 minutes.
Ei, vai mais João ali, vai. Vai mais João. Vamos marcar, Silvio. Silvio, vamos marcar. Ei, vem cá ajudar. Silvio, vamos cá. Vamos.
Ball ran away from him slightly, and all he could find then was the side netting. There's been opportunities for Orlando Pirates too, it must be said, and this one right at the end, James Monyane sets himself up with a neat little flick over his own head, and then on the turn hits it on the volley. Good attempt, unfortunately straight at Alex. This has been the story of the game. Only one shot on target so far, that one from Monyane. And the Pirates have created more opportunities than Atletico Madrid. And after the first 15 minutes, we saw that Madrid had more of the possession. However, Orlando Pirates, of course, have had the better of the closing stages of the first half. They have toiled centrally, whilst Atletico Madrid, a lot of their attacks coming down the left-hand side. Oriel of Atletico Madrid is an option up front, whilst, as mentioned before, Guille for Royal Blancos scored last time out, could do the same again.
All the action continues right here on your World of Champions, as we want to see who will be making it through to the finals. Right now, though, it is an honor. It's such an honor to be joined by Mr. Christian Karembu, who is a UEFA Champions League winner playing for Real Madrid. He won it twice, also FIFA World Cup winner playing for France in 1998. Christian, being a part of this tournament, how important is it in terms of developing the players, especially to international standard?
I'm sure that it's a great initiative created from 2010. This is the legacy of the last World Cup here in South Africa. And for sure it's going to be sustainable when we try to implement all the clubs from abroad. And we can see that it's already successful. I'm very proud, and because I can see that people come to see the games, come to see the tournament, and we need to thank also the authority of Gauteng, because they did believe in that project. Now we can see that there are many great talented players, and hopefully that when they are playing that competition, they exchange knowledges, they build themselves, they get experiences, and this is good for them and to lift the level of the tournament.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and good luck in terms of just, talking to the players and give them expert advice.
Of course, I will.
And that is Christian Karembu. Does not need an introduction to the football world. Has done so much when it comes to that. After this, the action continues on your World of Champions.
It's balanced on a knife edge, it's so evenly poised. Orlando Pirates and Atletico Madrid, neither side has scored. And we're walking amongst giants here at the Nike Center in Soweto, the likes of Christian Karembu. What an honor it is to have him affiliated to this tournament. And perhaps his presence here will inspire one of these young lads to make the difference, break the deadlock, and get their side into the final of the competition. Future champs Gauteng, semi-final 1, kicks off for the second half. It really promises to be a good one if the last 5 minutes of the first half are anything to go by, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. And Christian Karamba watching over some future talent, and obviously he's the ambassador to La Liga. We'll forgive him for what he did to us in '98, though. And a very warm welcome to him. And yeah, a good second half to look forward to, because the first was quite exhilarating, although there were no goals. Realised that Madrid had not actually got a shot on target, which could be a bit disturbing from their point of view, because for large periods of the game, large amounts of possession.
Doing an awful lot there, trying to hold the ball up and create himself space, maybe try and find a teammate. Is eventually brought down, and Madrid will be upset about that. They feel they should have got a penalty, and then moments later, Monyane flies forward, clashes with Fede, and the referee just telling him, that's your last chance, boy. It's a yellow card after this. The young man from Equatorial Guinea was already quite frustrated about how things had shaped up in the first half. Often felt like there was a lot of simulation when it came to the clashes that he was involved in.
I think the referee missed the beat here, because that was definitely a penalty. If we go back to that incident inside the penalty box.
Chance for Orlando Pirates. It was Monyane who sprayed the ball out wide. Dingy eventually picks it up once again after combining with Masinga.
Dingy really has been fantastic for me throughout the game. He's been a thorn in their flesh down their right-hand side for Pirates. And I'm certainly hoping, well, certainly Palacios will be hoping that lasts.
Chance, yeah, that is the man you're talking about. Dingy, second bite at the cherry. This time flies off of an opposition player. So once again, he engineers the corner. It's another one for Orlando Pirates, courtesy of their number 11. Perhaps just they continue plugging away. They continue getting these corner opportunities. Something's got to give eventually. Speak about the fact in the first half that they do have a big physical presence up there. Ball is lofted in. That's a good-looking corner. Decent. Unfortunately, decision goes the other way.
It's always very difficult when there's a number of challengers going for the one ball and the ball drops down into that penalty box. Anything can happen. Was a bit of a scramble there. Luckily for Madrid, came out in their favour.
Immediately as the ball left his foot for the corner, that it had a good shape on it, a good height, and it certainly caused a lot of problems. So some young men at this tournament have been guilty of being wasteful from these set-piece opportunities, often overhitting the corners. Sometimes they don't even beat the first man. You'll see that at any level, certainly. Just need to cut that out of their game as Andy looks long for Yakin. Knew that he didn't have the beating of others, so came back inside. Good feet there from Andy. It's the star of the opening day. Now Montero, foul goes against him, and he clashes the ball into the advertising hoardings. Was very upset by that, and now in fact will be called back by the referee, and he's getting his last warning.
As good as Montero has been this tournament, I would probably also say that Gaba, the captain for Pirates, has also been incredible. Very solid, showing a lot of maturity as well.
Yeah, certainly been very impressed by him. And also when Pirates do have to chase a game, has the ability to go up front. We saw it against the Kaizer Chiefs on Wednesday. They needed a goal. They brought on a substitute defender and then allowed the man with the armband to lead the line. He did so quite admirably, pushing the back quite clearly. The 17-year-old Yakin. the 15-year-old Mazibuko. Carlos, the Cuban, on young James Munyane. Second time that he's gone down clutching his head. This looks a little more serious than the occasion that I'm alluding to that transpired during the first half. Really clattered into here. In fact, that was the story of one of the earlier games that Orlando Pirates competed in. Munyane was upon the turf quite often. That's a rather jarring one. You can see his neck, almost a bit of whiplash.
Yeah, that's right. Vasquez has just come through and he's won the ball fairly. He's just caught Moniani with his shoulder, it seems. And that can be very painful. You saw his head and neck shudder from the impact, and that can't be nice.
They do have options, of course. One that immediately jumps out at you is young 15-year-old Bopelo. You might be thinking there's already a Bopelo on the field. It is his younger, well, no, what am I saying? Younger brother, they're twins. Simo and Simiso. They were simultaneously on the field against Kaizer Chiefs on Wednesday. Let's see another situation where that happens. Pretty deep throw here. Mazibuko loses out, and in doing so wins Orlando Pirates a free kick.
Technically, round one has to be younger than the other.
One does, yeah, but I'm not sure which one it is. And look at this, Matthew, the foul count rising for Atletico Madrid. It's well, see Montero shouldering into Modibo, who's giving it as good as he gets, and now the hands go. Two of them, it's getting a little bit fiery there in the box. Neither young man prepared to back down. Chance for a switch, and he tracks it. Can't quite bring it down as neatly as he would have wanted to, but it is on his favored left foot. The move breaks down due to an offside.
You can expect ground for these types of niggles to continue as long as it stays at 0-0 and things are not going the way of Madrid. They're not having it their own way and they're not taking it very kindly. And the Pirates players quite rightly giving as good as they're getting.
Just off screen before the game was restarted, Modibo was having a word with the referee, in fact pointing, gesturing towards Montero to say, you need to keep an eye on this. He's shouldering me in the back, his hands all over my face. We'll come back to him, battling away with Fede. Hasn't quite got the better of him yet. Mazibuko goes round the man from Guinea, keeps going, and can't find anyone. Federico. This battle between Fede and Moniane has been enthralling. Overlapping run found, ball in there, Yakin was waiting near post, but well headed behind.
Yeah, Moniani and Fede have had a right go at each other. Having a couple of words now. There's been a delay in play and they're just having a word with each other now.
Corner goes in by the foot of Andy. He's coming round at the back post. Luke gets a head in, it's tame. Still 20 minutes to go. Still 20 minutes for this story to take a dramatic twist. Alejandro Nunes, Atto, battling away, as is Oscar over the top. Yakin. Well, Tunsane, the shot stopper, is a little bit upset with his defense. Does he have a right to be so, Matt?
Well, it was a very neat ball through to Yakim, and he should have at least got that on target. But Tunsane really did well. He was quick off his line, and he's been very impressive himself.
And Foster takes a crack at it. Again, not the best defending from Atletico Madrid. This is possibly the most uncomposed and disorganized that we've seen them at any point in this competition.
Yeah, it's because of the fact that Pirates, their attacking unit, has put them under that pressure. It's been very impressive from a Pirates point of view. Foster not quite being able to get his foot around that ball.
Munyane loses out. This could be very dangerous now for Orlando Pirates as Oscar comes away with it on the left-hand flank. Has options inside, chooses to go on the outside. Nicely done by him. Needs to find someone though. He's giving Mofokeng a right run around. Good skill from the young Spaniards, and the ever impressive Tunsane claims once again under pressure. Oh, a little bit of a kick out. The goalkeeper knew nothing about the fact that a man was there behind him. He was simply just backing away. And Yakin takes umbrage with the fact that the keeper would even dare to touch him with his feet. It really was an accident. Modiba comes inside beautifully. That's really nice play. Tries to pick out the lanky striker. Ndini doesn't manage to, but the ball comes back to him. Now Masinga, he laid it on. That might have been his last contribution. Munyane, shot from distance. Alex doesn't have to make the save, but he wasn't sure about that one. My oh my. This young man has some power in his right foot. Is Masinga, who will be withdrawn in favor of Popela, as I alluded to earlier. Might be a change they might want to make, whilst Munyane comes on for Foster up front. Nicely headed away. Two Popelas in central midfield for Orlando Pirates here, Matt. This might get a little confusing.
Well, if there's ever going to be a telepathic understanding in the midfield, it's going to be now.
That's perhaps exactly what they need. Oscar lays it on to Andy, who was offside, which is a fact that the referee did not realize. Flag raised immediately. Sean Olive on the near side had called for it. Only now as the referee actually realized, although the play had progressed long past the initial incident. Still looking impressive. This time mugged by Andy. Oscar can't make his way through. Katleko, Munyane Feels like he might have taken a boot to the face. Certainly showing a lot of bravery to go in there with his head. Now Popela fighting away. Even have the same boots on, Matt, do the Twins. Twins are used to wearing the same kind of clothes. Now, chance, Yakin onside. He's done it. Yakin scores his first of the competition, and that might just be the goal that they needed to send them through to the finals of future champs Gauteng in their first appearance in this competition.
Oh, Augusto Palacios is in shock, as you can see. It's probably you could say it was against the run of play. Completely unexpected, yeah. Bit of a scramble between the Pirates defenders. And Yakim does incredibly well just to show Tunswani to the floor before just chipping it over him.
I wouldn't hesitate at all to say it has come against the run of play, Matt. You're right. Just traps it in his instep and then waits a moment and reacts to what the keeper does. Goalkeeper goes down, just slides it past him. Atletico Madrid still yet to concede. Might just be taking this game by a 1-goal margin for the third time in a row. The Pirates need to react, and the way that they're going to react is to bring on Devin van Niekerk. He'll enter the fray imminently. He's replacing a defender, birthday boy, Mofo King, will depart the field after the next break in play. Great long throw into the box, flicked on there. It's the corner. Less than 13 minutes for the Buccaneers to make something happen. Force penalties, perhaps. It'll be the first penalty shootout of the competition, the 2016 edition of this competition. Ball delivered in. Again, it's into a really great area. Forces Fede to clear. Back in. Klaba. Popela. Popela to Popela. Doesn't work out. Perhaps on the break again. Well, Oscar can't believe it. Backed into his man slightly and then very cleverly turned him and let the ball just run past through to Yakin. Referee wasn't happy.
Just over 13 minutes left, plus minus. And after just conceding, our question was whether Pirates was going to roll their last dice immediately or wait a couple of minutes. They've decided to throw on another substitution so as to try and change the course of this game as soon as possible.
The earlier that you start rolling the dice, the more likely you are to see the numbers come up that you are hoping for. In Orlando Pirates' case, the number that they're hoping for is one goal, force us into penalties, or 2, and take this game outright. Can they make it happen? They were a good outfit. They've looked really, really good. In fact, they may be a little bit unlucky to be behind. Well, Matthew, Yakin's been in the thick of all the controversy so far in this game. He's got the goal. He's lashed out at a player for the second time. It's the same player. In the first instance, it was Tunsane after he believed that he had trod on him on purpose. And, he's done it again. Deservingly has picked up a yellow card.
He's the type of striker that can get under defender's skin very easily. You would have thought that he would have calmed down now that they're a goal ahead. That's not to be.
Touch to handle it there. Winyane. When you close down like that, sometimes you can make that just that telling block, and the ball can fall to you rather fortuitously. Didn't come off from this time. Now Andy with his powerful left. Faber clears. Modiba had come back from an offside position to attempt to head that. Didn't in fact make a connection, but of course had interfered with play.
Montero immediately thought that he was blowing against him, and all of his defenders started to walk back as if a free kick had been given against him. In fact, the referee had blown for an offside. Like you said, Modiba had just been coming back from offside position, and he went up for that challenge for Lelo.
Got to credit the linesman. That's often one of the hardest ones to call. The man receiving the ball when he is in fact onside. Great officiating. Great officiating, it must be said, by Michael Causa, because he's managed to keep a lid on this one. There are 10 minutes, so I could be made to eat my words, but as it stands, the Spanish players have been remonstrating with him the entire game, as have the Orlando Pirates players. But he's managed to just see, well, you can't be doing that. As Oscar goes and just kicks the ball away. Here he is. Showed great skills on the left-hand flank earlier in the half. Does so again, and this will also just run down the clock. Montero joined the club in 2014. Her birthday earlier this year, 17 years old. Oscar. Good looking ball through here to Yakin. It's decent skill. In the end, the second man picks it up nicely. Nini against Montero, gets the better of him. Still going. Lovely skill. Ball in. And that's much better from Orlando Pirates with just over 5 minutes to go. They need more of that. It'll be
the first time in the game that Montero has come off second to a man half his size. Brilliant piece of skill down the right-hand side there. Once again, just that final ball, just that final decision-making or pass, the weight of the ball just wasn't good enough in Pirates' favour.
Goes for the flick. It's not good enough. Now Bopela. Headed backwards to the goalkeeper, who was well aware off his line quickly.
At this stage of the game, that's uncalled for from Modiba. He's really got to get back quicker. Once again, he's come from offside position, and that's lazy in his part. He should be making much more of an effort to stay onside.
Well, Andy hasn't looked as bright as he did on day one. And taking to the field, Ruben. We're used to seeing him with bright silver headgear. It's got a massive knock to the head against Mpumalanga Black Aces on Wednesday, and had to wear a swimming cap for the remainder of that game. Comes onto the park here with just a bandage. But plenty of time to measure his ball over the top. That's not what you want. You'd like Modiba to be the man flicking the ball on. Of course, Munyane, the man to try and break past the defense and run onto it.
Despite it being offside, that was a fantastic piece of skill from Tunswani.
Two balls on the field. You'll notice that although it rolled right past his feet, Oscar not interested in booting it off. Of course, it works in his favor. The Orlando Pirates player has to come from some distance to get rid of it before the game can restart. So some might call it unsporting, some might just call it plain old clever from Oscar. In any case, it does shave a few more valuable seconds off of the clock. Here he is, Oscar. Mugged from behind by Bopela. Munyane, what a fantastic take over his shoulder out of the air. Unfortunately, couldn't locate a teammate in front of him. If Orlando Pirates were to fall out of this competition, or at least only make it into the third place playoff as opposed to the final, I think that by most accounts they would have a little bit of a right to feel aggrieved, considering how well they have performed today, especially how well they fared in the first half. But what Atletico Madrid have done here is showed us that they have the ability to win ugly. Oscar just handles it there. They haven't really been tested in the games prior to this. Slick, classy style of play being utilized, except for today. They've been in a dogfight, and if they do come up trumps, well, credit to them.
Again, just as the free kick's about to be taken, the referees had to go across to that huddle of players there. Modiba involved again as some pushing and shoving.
Lofted in by the goalkeeper. Alex, the Brazilian, wasn't quite sure about that one. The 17-year-old Ike being prepared. He'll take to the field for the fiery Oscar. Perhaps the coach just fearing that the number 10 is not quite able to compose himself enough for the final minutes.
It could be the case, but I think he might very well have to take off the whole of his team if he's thinking that manner, because it's not only Oscar that's been slowly boiling over.
As you did make mention of, it's now unnecessary for them to do so because they are in the lead. Now a transfer Pirates. Clear, there's no one up top for Atletico Madrid, as you would imagine, going into these 4 minutes of added time. And most of the bodies will be behind the ball.
This is another fantastic opportunity for Pirates to get back into the game. Really unnecessary from Gomez. He jumped far too soon. He was riding on the back of the Pirates player. Quite rightly, despite his protestations, the referee made the correct decision, giving the free kick to Pirates. Interesting that Tunswane has come up to take it.
This method of shielding the ball that Orlando Pirates utilize hasn't quite paid off for them yet. Tunswane was directed in on goal. That was his intention, to score, and what a hero the keeper would have been if he had pulled off such a feat. Long throw opportunity here. Will launch it into the box. 17-year-old captain Aba. That's a really good looking one. Causing havoc here. Munyane just try to keep it in play. Overlapping is Fede. Up against Mazibuko. The man from Guinea will be content to do nothing more than this one. It does forge away into the box. Tunsane releases very quickly. Over the top, Modiba just can't get his head onto the end of it before Alex has come off his line. And in the chaos that ensued for that ball over the top, Montero has gone to the ground. He's still clutching his ankle. Now, trouble here. Munyane has tried to pick up Montero. The captain goes flying in. Just need to keep your cool here, boys. That will be the instruction from the coaches on the sidelines. They don't want to see anyone go off. They certainly don't want to see anyone be suspended for the final. Montero still in absolute agony. Now the referee has a few decisions to make. Munyane is squared up to the two Atletico defenders. Aba came rushing in. There he is, still remonstrating. Oh, wow. The referee seemingly has not spotted that, because if he has, Modiba is destined to see red. Council now with his linesman. Has he spotted it? Calls over the lanky front man. It's only a yellow. Surprising for you, Matt?
Yeah, well, that was a red card offence. And this has been threatening to boil over, certainly from the beginning of the second half, where Montero has been having a constant go at Modiba. And this, I think, has been a very brash reaction from Medina. He's very lucky to have stayed on the puck.
Well, the goal scorer from Wednesday, Guille, will take to the field to replace the goal scorer from today, Yakin. That could be the difference. As it stands, with time winding down, it may very well be. It is. The referee brings an end to this. Pirates players